The Ticket.
A lot of folks in Idaho kind of strutting into work today, right? Boise State fan, you won on Friday night, Ashton Genty. Whoa! Idaho Vandal fan, yeah, you won in the Dome showdown against Sac State. And Idaho State Bengal fan, you won your home opener and are 1-0 in the Big Sky. Cody Hawkins, head coach, beating Northern Colorado Prater. So all in all, I mean, you've been rooting for these Idaho teams your whole life. 3-0 doesn't happen all that often.
Yeah, loved it. Absolutely loved it. And mostly for Cody Hawkins, very cool deal. If you guys saw that video, post-game locker room, that's just awesome stuff. And he handles it the right way. And his team's going to take a lot of lumps this year, but I cannot wait to see where this sucker is in about 3 years.
Ah, man, good stuff. So, yes, Idaho football fan, you're very happy, you would think, today. Shoot us some text messages, 208-424-9300. Who's your team? How sweet was that victory? And speaking of Ashton Genty, you will hear from Andy Avalos. You're going to hear from Bush Hamden. You'll even hear from Spencer Danielson today coming up on Ashton Genty. We'll get to that. But first, Prater, it's report card time. JP suggested this in our meeting today. We are 1/3 finished for the 2023 season. 12-game regular season, 4 games in. We figured, you know what? Let's grade this football program. 4 categories. Boise State football, and probably not the grades this program is used to.
No, definitely not the grades. It's 2-2 mixed results. The team's getting a little bit better here and there. Obviously, the schedule, the competition plays a role in that. But let's have a candid conversation, Ballgame, about where this team is. You and I will give our grades out. Love to hear some response from you guys, and we'll read them later on in the show. But let's get after it, my friend.
Yeah, 208-424-9300. Tell us where you agree or maybe not agree with Prater and myself when it comes to some of our grades. Prater, I'm going to start with this thing, okay? And I'm going to start with the offense.
Fire away, my friend.
My grade for the Boise State offense after 4 games is a B-. And I'll tell you why. Well, I don't love the fact that they're 77th in the country in points per game. That's not good at all. However, if you take it to a conference situation, and that's kind of what I did on this, I'm not going national as much as I'm going local and in Mountain West play. And the Boise State offense is 4th in the league in yards per game. Okay. Upper third there. They are 3rd in the league in rushing yards per game. Obviously, Air Force is going to be 1. That's a given. Boise State's 3rd in this conference in rushing yards per game. They are 8th in points per game. Don't like that. They got to score more. But Ashton Genty, to me, is the best player in this league, the biggest weapon in this league. Prater, I got a B- for the offense after 4 games.
We're on the same page. I gave him a B, and I would have given him a B+ if it wasn't for that scoring, because there's some things about this offense that I like an awful lot, and you just hit on most of them. But we spent a lot of time this offseason talking about this offseason. Boise State has not averaged 30 points a game under Andy Avalos. As a matter of fact, I can't remember the last time Boise State's offense didn't average 30 points a game in back-to-back seasons. It's probably been 20, 25 years, going all the way back to maybe those 96, 97 seasons. And the fact that they're at 27-8, that's the lowest of the Andy Avalos era. Yeah, the work is undone and the competition gets easier. So I expect that number to go up. But right now we're grading on that. And just based on points alone, gives me, I could have easily gone B-. I think you had made good points with your B-. The offensive line really bumps up everything here for me. Ashton Genty bumps up everything here for me. Developing a star wide receiver bumps up everything for me. Everything after that, not so much. In terms of wide receiver depth, running back depth, maybe offensive line depth. I think the tight ends are doing good, but they're not doing what you guys want. You guys want production, and they're taking care of the edges when this offensive line needs some help blocking and running for Ashton Genty. So overall, I go with a flat-out B on offense. Ballgame.
Can you believe we're here? We are a third way through the season, and we're picking on this offense, and the reason, rightfully so, we're picking on it is the passing game, is the quarterback.
And the scoring. I mean, the Taylor Green effect is certainly a surprise.
Yeah.
We were all duped in the offseason that he was the man, and he still may be, and he's got a lot of intangibles that need to be worked on. But I think we're starting to get a really clear picture of what Taylor Green is as a quarterback. Pretty special in some areas, has a lot of work to do in other areas. I think the fact that he's getting a little bit better every game, maybe that's a coaching thing, of which I'll address here in a little bit.
Okay, I went B- on the offense. Prater went a B. That correct?
Yes,
That's
sir.
where we are. Let's go to the defense. Prater, start us off.
I went C minus. I went C minus here because I'm just not seeing a lot of great things. I'm seeing some good things, but I'm not seeing a lot of great things. And the back half of that defense, the explosions, the pass plays, the long plays, explosive plays are just really hurting Boise State right now. And the third down efficiency, we talked about this earlier in the show. The two most demoralizing things when it comes to your defense is giving up the bombs and giving up third downs. And Boise State right now is really, really struggling giving up the explosive plays and getting off the field on third downs. How many times during today's press conference, of which you'll hear some audio highlights here in about 10, 15 minutes, did Andy Avalos, Spencer Danielson say money downs, money downs, money downs? That's your money down. And Boise State's not doing a very good job on its money downs.
No, not at all, man. And you'll hear from Andy Avalos, as Prater said, a little bit later. Okay, you went with the C minus on your defensive grade through 3 games. I went with a D, and I got too damn many of these when I was going through school. So I know the D. I know what deserves. I know what warrants a D. And Boise State's defense warrants a D. I would have went D plus, but to me, that's like the worst grade you can give. They're 107th in the nation in points per game. Okay, 106 teams have given up less points than Boise State's defense this year. That sucks. I'll look at the Mountain West. Okay, the 4 major defensive categories, team categories in this conference. Here's Boise State's ranks. 9th out of 12, 10th out of 12, 5 out of 12, 7 out of 12. Nah, you're getting a D in my book defensively, other than the one thing that I want to commend them on, I can almost take it away. And that's their red zone turnovers. They must be in the top 10 in America in turnovers in the red zone. But, you know, Bob Beeler calls it opportunistic. I call it lucky. And that, to me, has bailed this defense out of even worse. UCF probably would have been a 3-teeter disaster if not for opportunistic turnovers there. I think that's a way to be nice to say it, but yeah, Prater, I got a D on the defense. They got a lot of work to do, man.
Yeah, that's harsh, but I think it's realistic, and I can certainly see that, and nicely done explaining that.
Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to special teams, and I'm going to give them an A on special teams, and here's why. Well, you have the best kicker, arguably, in the conference. He's 5 for 5 on the year, and he's hit his all-time career high. Jonah Dalmas, I know you missed the very first PAT attempt of the year. Not sure what the hell happened on that one, but Jonah Dalmas, you're still Jonah Dalmas. There's an A. James Ferguson Reynolds, luckily, Aston Genty is having the season he's having. Otherwise, we would be honestly forced to do punter radio every day on IST. Prater, we might need to get Darren Bennett back on the show, his punting mentor from Australia, the NFL former Pro Bowler, because James Ferguson Reynolds is leading the nation on paper. He's pretty much the best punter in the country. Kickoff returns, I'm okay with. Punt returns, there hasn't been any, but they're not coughing it up either. I'm okay with that as well. Prater, give me an A on special teams.
Yeah, I went with a B, maybe a B plus at best, because half the special teams are really, really struggling. And I don't need to sit here and tell you more about the punter. Great, the punter's good. The kicker's good. We love the kicker. That's pretty cool. But the other 2 phases, they're one of the worst teams in the country when it comes to punt returns. Chase Penry he's the leading punt return guy for Boise State. Didn't even play last week. Cole Wright, 0 yards in 1 attempt. Steph Cobbs, negative on his only attempt. The punt return right now, they're averaging 1.5 per punt return. It's almost non-existent. It's almost embarrassing. And the kick return isn't much better there. Caden Dudley might be working himself into the number 1 guy there. And he's got decent numbers. He's averaging 23 yards with a long of 49. But I don't see anything too explosive. And after that, I don't see anything that's special here. So the return game to me has been a little bit of a detriment when Boise State could use a little bit more field possession help. I gave the special teams a B plus.
Think of all, and we're not grading on a curve considering what this program has done, but I mean, we could have spent a whole segment going over great return people playing for this school. Remember all the great punt returners this school has had? They have not found great punt return production, Prater, in Avalos's tenure here. Have they had one punt returner that scared anybody since he showed up? They haven't had it since Avery Williams. Bless Avery's heart, one of the best in America, but that's been a massive hole. I'm with you. And kick returns, don't even get us started. Dudley's more than capable, but we're talking about having to replace Avery Williams around here.
Yep. But you gave him an A, though.
I did. Based on the kicking and punting, that's all I care about. You can average 23 yards on your kick return or just fair catch punts all day long, and I'm not going to dock you much.
All right.
Let's go to the coaching. Oh, Michael Forrest Prater. You've been paying attention to this team for decades. Your coaching grade means everything to everybody listening. Prater, bring it.
The social media feedback I saw was everything from an F to a B. There was no A's anywhere in coaching. And I'm not going to give the coaching an A, but I'm going to give the coaching a big, solid, fat B. And I think most people would say it should be a C, a D, or even an F. I think the Boise State coaching staff is doing a really nice job with this football team. Most of the mistakes that have been made, I think it's a consistency issue with the players. I think it's a mistake issue with the players. Our coach is part of that. Absolutely, they are. But I think the coaching staff has done a phenomenal job of getting the offensive line to be a strength, and you need to have the offensive line be a strength. I think they're getting Talon Better, who started off this season a complete total disaster. Remember what happened in the first 4 games last year? The quarterback got worse, and all of a sudden we had a big implosion, and this football team was just off and running. From day one, I think Talon Green's got a little bit better because the coaching staff is putting him in a position to succeed. One tiny little step at a time. It's baby steps, but the nice safe screens, letting him run more, giving him options to run more. Every single week that they do just a little bit more here and there. The defense is certainly an issue. The kicking game is spectacular. I think that this defense, I think that this coaching staff is coaching its butt off, and I think that they're making the right calls. I'm blaming mostly the players, and I'm giving the coaching staff a B.
What do you guys think on Prater's assessment of this coaching staff? He's more on the players as blame as the coaches. I'm giving this coaching staff just a C, not a C minus, not a C plus. You're 2-2. There's some stuff I like. There's some stuff I hate. There's some stuff that is perfect that doesn't need much work. There's some stuff that needs all the work coaching can do. As far as some of the assistants go, Spencer Danielson's having a tough time this year, and it's getting redundant every Monday where Spencer takes the podium, and I love Spencer, and he says, it's on me. It's my fault. It starts with me. I have to get better. I have to do better. And at some point I'm going to feel bad for Spencer because at some point you're not allowed to just my bad anymore. My bad. Okay. It's your bad. Well, you haven't fixed it yet. I got a C on this coaching staff. And yeah.
If I was to give them a C, and I thought about that a little bit, it would have absolutely nothing to do with what's gone on in these first 4 games, and it would have everything to do with what didn't happen in the offseason. And I'm very disappointed, and this is a developing story, the guys, that we have to keep an eye on.
Yeah,
the transfer portal here. Boise State does a phenomenal job of keeping its locker room intact.
Oh, yeah.
There are people, not only in this town, watching Boise State football, maybe even in this room, who think that the transfer portal is going to blow up on Boise State over these next couple of years. But I think Boise State does a phenomenal job of building the brotherhood. But I also think the Boise State staff did a terrible job with the transfer portal this offseason. There isn't one transfer portal guy that's done anything. Newton had a decent game the other day, but decent game. And that's where week 4, and that's the first time a transfer portal guy has stepped up. One of them has been kicked off the team today. Another one quit.
Yep.
A couple of them were brought in, and they're on the scout team.
Who was kicked off, Prater?
Tiller, the Wisconsin DB.
He left today.
Yeah, he left. Yeah, that's right. He didn't get kicked off. You're right. Thanks for clarifying that. He left the team today to graduate and transfer and focusing on school because he didn't pan out. He's not playing. Kevon Wright, I think, is on the scout team.
Boston College kid.
Some of these other guys, the Weegis kid, and some of these other kids are, I hear
play
them
sparingly.
Sparingly. Boise State, I think, failed miserably in the transfer portal in the offseason, did not make their team better. We were led that the defensive line was rebuilt because of the transfer portal. The defensive line, at best, for me, is a C right now. And that's mostly because the transfer portal guys aren't coming through.
I haven't heard anybody really harp on that yet. That's a good point. I'm trying to think of one that arrived via the transfer portal that is helping this football team.
Ethan Card.
For me, it's Penry.
But he didn't even play the last week. I'm not sure why. I think he got hurt.
Yeah, I think it was Penry for me. That's the one guy in the portal who I've actually seen this year touch the ball. And you're saying, yeah, Card. Yeah, he's played. He's been a backup guy, serviceable.
Yep. And Marion McCoy, the cornerback, has done okay as maybe the fourth or fifth cornerback. Is
that the transfer portal, though? They got him from a JC.
Yeah.
That's not a transfer
portal. I was
giving
him some love, Ballgame. I was giving him some love.
He's just a JC kid.
No, that's fair. That's absolutely fair. The point here is, and some of these guys were early enrollees. They've been here since January.
Yeah.
Not seeing it happen, guys.
I'm with you, though. Sheldon Newton, I thought was a load at times in that San Diego State game. And that was really refreshing to see that they had some big nose guard type of player that gets in there and not only clogs the run, Prater, but makes plays. And I thought Sheldon Newton was flying around there. That was really good to see. Those are our grades. What are yours? Until then, let's get to Andy Avalos. Let's get to Bush Hamden and defensive coordinator Spencer Danielson. What they think of Ashton Gente's performance. Prater on the ball game, Idaho Sports Talk. KTIK, The Ticket.
From the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Studios, this is Ticket Traffic.